What's going on, guys? My name is Justin Florio, and I am the owner of PNC Fitness Patience and Consistency LLC. And today I want to talk about on why you should start a personal training studio with having no debt. Now, I know there are going to be some personal trainers out there who watch this video, gym owners out there who think that I am absolutely ridiculous for doing this, but we're approaching our 9th year, and I feel like what we have done has worked for us. And I think if you're new and young in the personal training industry, this video could help you tremendously. Now, what I mean by no debt is when you open up a facility, especially from my end, I would watch videos on social media and I'd see some of these gyms that people had, whether they were personal trainers or just membership gyms, and they were just fully loaded with everything, right? They had every possible machinery out there, and while that's great because it'll probably entice people to come in, it doesn't mean that those people who are enticed to come in are going to be long-term clients. So obviously, before you even start a gym, you want to make sure that you have a decent clientele that you're going to enter the gym with, because you can't go in there empty-handed and just pray that people are going to come flock to you. When I took the chances of opening up this small facility, 1,300 square foot facility, we had a good clientele. Now, I was going home to home, so my biggest worry was that a lot of the clients were not going to follow me here. But most of them did, and we are on a localized highway where we get a ridiculous amount of car traffic, which has helped tremendously. And I had two options when I opened up this gym. I could have put myself in a ridiculous amount of debt. I could have went out and got a loan. But with most of my theories in life, debt does not get you where you want to. Now, there are some situations where debt could be good debt, but for me as a personal trainer, I understood the roller coaster of emotions and the fluctuation of clients. So I did not want to put myself in jeopardy and rely on people. And I'm very happy I did not do this, because we'll throw the word out there, COVID would have destroyed me. So we opened up this facility, and I had been saving money for a little while, and I was very lucky to know the landlord here, and he helped us get a decent rate for what I thought the facility was. You have to pay 3 months in advance for the facility, so I used all that money, and then during that time when I was going home to home, I was also letting people come into my garage at my home. And I was building up equipment while going home to home. I go on Craigslist and Marketplace, and if I was going down to a certain town and I saw that there was something available, I would try to do a 2-for-1. I would go train someone, go pick up a piece of equipment, bring it back, and then sometimes I would just have the stuff in the back of my car. I drive a little RAV4, and I would put dumbbells in the back of my car. I'd have a bag full of bands. At one point, I had an adjustable dumbbell. I think at one point I was even trying to carry or drag along a resistance bike with me, just trying to keep it exciting for the clients. But while I was doing the clients, training them, I would always be trying to find snags and deals from people on Marketplace, because there are always people out there who want to give away equipment. And when I wasn't using the equipment for my at-home clients, I would bring it to the house. And I think over the course at my house, I accumulated, and there were a lot of purchases that I made that made me that were a waste of a purchase. Like, I bought this GHD online, and I should have just waited for a used version, because it was not a good GHD to be doing sit-ups and GHD, like GHRs and stuff on. It wasn't a very solid piece of equipment, but it was cheap on Amazon, and I pursued it. There are a lot of things that I've purchased on Amazon over time that I wish I had not, and I would probably have a lot more money right now. I collected dumbbells. Anywhere from like 5 to 90 pounds, which I still have in the facility that we are using today. I collected horse stall mats so that the gym, our garage floor, would look like a gym. I picked up a rowing machine from someone. Actually, they delivered it to me, which was really nice. Kettlebells over time, and bands, and a squat rack. And we started with the absolute pure basic things that we thought our clientele would need, because truly, you could give someone a fantastic workout with just dumbbells and bands and a bike, a rower. So we started off with that collection, and then we slowly built into what we have today. And when we opened up our door, we didn't even have enough horse stall mats to cover the entire flooring in the gym. So it looked a little bit silly, but I was confident that over time we would build into it. And we had the option of buying everything right away, putting it on a credit card. And I told my wife, let's just build into this and make sure that this is what we're going to do long term. I know it doesn't sound like I had a lot of confidence in ourselves, but I also wasn't very confident within the industry and the location and the salary that people are making within my area. Now I'm very confident. But we slowly built up. And again, while I was training people here, I just looked for deals. There was a point where we could have purchased a bunch of things on Titan or Rogue, and we could have put ourselves in a little bit of debt, or we could have done like monthly payments on things. But I just didn't want that overhead. So we bought 2 squat racks. The number one thing was we filled up the entire floor with the horse stall mats so we would make it look like a nice gym. And then over time, we built up more and more because I did not want to be in debt. And I think the reason for having no debt as a business owner, especially like a personal trainer, is it gives you flexibility and freedom. And that's the main part of this post and this video. You know, to have the flexibility and freedom of having no debt, it takes that pressure away of being like, okay, I need to do this. It allows you, especially for someone like a personal trainer, you're doing this because you truly love it. And without the debt and the pressure, it allows you to continue to self-educate and enjoy what you're doing instead of this pressure of, man, I need to hit this X amount. I need to make these amount of sales. You know, if someone comes in and they don't like it, I don't want to be that pushy salesperson. Listen, it doesn't work out. It's all good. You move on to the next person. And I hope that you find fitness that you enjoy. And it also gives you the freedom and flexibility of working hours. You know, if I got sick, it's all good. I'm going to be sick and I'm going to recover myself to 100% before I come back, because I don't have that overhead of those constant payments over and over that I need to fulfill. And obviously, you want to make sure you're saving money for a rainy day. Again, COVID really taught me that. We were doing it, but at the same time, I was spending a lot of money trying to build up the equipment in here. But again, I also was very happy that I did not have debt, because I don't know what I would have done during COVID. The pressure part is really, really critical because, again, it just allows you to be free with who you are as a trainer. And in my opinion, it gives you the ability to grow faster, especially from like an expense aspect, because if you're constantly paying money back to these big companies that you're buying the equipment from, then you're constantly paying them and you're not able to, one, maybe give yourself a little bit of a raise. Number two, you're not able to go out and buy new equipment freely. And you're never going to grow with that, because you're just going to be in a constant state of paying this payment, paying this payment, paying this payment. And then it becomes a psychological thing because, oh wow, we just paid off this $2,000 squat rack. That's everything, cable machine, everything. Now, what's the next thing that we're going to do? And it becomes a psychological thing. It's human nature. You're going to constantly be in debt with someone else. You just don't want to be in debt as a business owner, because then you have more room to grow. Because if you're not paying those people, now you can pay yourself. You could save it. You could save it in the business. You could put it into retirement. You could put it back into the business. So it just gives you the ability to grow faster. And then this is my favorite part. It gives you the ability to enjoy the building process. I walk into my gym every day and I am just in awe of what I've built from where we started. I'm gonna try to post some pictures here just so I don't bore you with just my face of talking to you. But again, we started with just a few horse stall mats, a beat up squat rack, a barbell, some bumper plates, kettlebells, dumbbells, and the dumbbells were all different colors because I'd gotten them from different people. And I've painted all the dumbbells black. I made them look really nice so they all look the same. Kettlebell used to be on the ground. Now I have a kettlebell rack. I have a cable machine in the other room. The other room didn't have horse stall mats for almost a year. And I've built up in barbells, and I have a GHD and all these different cardio pieces. I have a nice sign on my wall, on my building. And the building process to me is why I think going into a business in a lot of debt is kind of pointless, because in order to build what you want, it's going to take time. And the last thing you want is to buy something and then be stuck with it because you were in debt with it for so long, and then not have the ability to sell it because you have this wrong emotional attachment to it. And that's pretty much it. No debt. I think no debt is truly the way to go when it comes to opening up a personal training studio. You can do whatever you want. You could take this and say, Justin, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. But I truly think if you can go into it, start extremely small and slowly build up your process, it'll give you the ability to be free. It'll take all the pressure